Hi and welcome to Filmibeat Tamil. And today we'll be talking to Mr. Madhvani about his web series, The Waking of a Nation. And welcome, Ram. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for to you and to everybody. And I'm only sitting in my car. It's looking like as if it is a private jet,
Yeah.
but private jet nahi hai, it's just a car.
Okay. So before going into the movie, I actually want to ask about the title of the movie, "The Waking of a Nation." Such a powerful name, I must say. Like
Thank you.
it is something. Like how did you come up with the name, and was there anyone who just gave you some ideas or
No,
something like
so
that?
but first of all, I think that's such a lovely question. In all these interviews that I have done, nobody has asked me why this title. In fact, a lot of people when we were making it, especially when we were deciding whether to market, it was always called Waking of a Nation. I'll tell you why we called it that. In the last 6-7 months, I also felt a little hesitant about continuing to call it the Waking of a Nation because I thought people may not, sort of get it and
Mm,
people may not remember it. And
mm,
because it's also not a Hindi title in a way, and because our primary market is also Hindi.
yeah.
So thankfully, Sony Live supported the title. They liked the title. And we've been working on this series now for about 5 years. So when we were writing it over 3 years, when I first thought about it, which was 5 years ago, I went to my writers and it was called The Making of a Nation at that time.
Okay.
And then my co-writer, Shatrujit Nath, he said, Ram, this is really about not just the making of a nation and how the nation was made, but it's also how the nation actually awakened.
Mm,
And it's the waking of a nation, and it's the waking of a man who is the lead character, who's played by Taruk Raina, who's the
mm,
lawyer Kantilal Sani. That here is a man who was blindfolded by the British and who is in some ways his eyes are opening. And
mm,
so that was the reason why the waking of a nation. Okay, this is a country waking up to its own identity.
mm.
So that was the reason. So I liked it immediately when instead of the making of a nation, it became the waking of a nation.
Actually, making of a nation is good, but waking of a nation is like, flawless.
Yeah.
It actually,
Yeah.
tells the whole story in the title itself. Like, okay, so this is going to be the story, so be prepared. And it was
Yeah.
so good. And so
Oh,
I'd like
thank you. I'm so happy you liked it. I'm so happy that that you're asking me. It makes me feel sort of कि अच्छा, there are people out there who are reacting well to the title. That's so heartening to know.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. So yeah, I would like to ask you about how this whole thing happened. You told me that it was like a 5-year-old story. It was you actually conceived the story like 5 years ago. What was the one thing that motivated you to write a story around this, the whole the Hunter
So
Commission, the Jallianwala Bagh thing, and all that?
so actually, I've spoken about this earlier, but it was a very personal incident that happened to me about many years ago. I was traveling to London with my mother, and she was on the opposite side of the plane. We were in economy class,
Mm,
and I was sitting on this side, she was sitting on that side, and I had to go and she wanted me to, after the plane took off, she said, "Come and meet me." So I
mm,
went आगे, and that kitchen का जो curtain जो था वो बंद था. So I felt shy, I felt intimidated. I said, "No, I can't go through there." So
mm,
that front row that is there, no, which has a little more jaga, it's not technically an aisle. So I
mm,
wanted to go across. So I spoke to a white man who was sitting there in the aisle, and I said, "Excuse me, sir, can I go across?"
mm.
And he said, "Sit down, you brown bastard."
Wow.
Okay,
Wow.
by me. So I actually, Leo, I went and sat down. I got so, I didn't answer the man. I was shaking. I was a little like to me like this.
Mm,
And then since that time, I've been trying to figure out how to speak about, what they call as the white man's burden. They came here to civilize us. And I said, why did they think that because my skin was brown, that the white skin was superior? And so this has been troubling me for many years. And
mm,
in the troubling of this, I was then reading about many things. And then this story came up because I was researching how to speak about racism, colonialism, the color of your skin, white superiority. And
mm,
then this story came up when I was searching for it, and it's all in the public domain. And
mm,
if you just type Google and Hunter Commission, and you type Jalmala Bagh, or you type even the name Hansraj, which
mm,
is the person who's there in episode 1, who's the Indian who actually, in a way, was they call him the police informer
Mm.
on Google. Okay.
Okay.
So that's something that came through the research and through the story. And obviously, a lot of it is fictitious also because the Four Friends part of it is fictitious, but it's based against what happened. And there is a 500-page archive
Mm.
which the Hunter Commission did actually release. And
Mm.
I'm told that there are two other archives that have yet not been put out. There are two other reports that have yet not been put out. It's yet, sort of in the archives. But
Mm.
out of the reports that this one was put out, which is about 400, 500 pages.
Mm.
So when you read it, you're completely shocked
Mm.
by, and I've used it in episode 4 with
Mm.
General Dyer basically feeling that it was, didn't even apologize. He said nothing. He said, "Bhai, ye maine jo kiya, it was the right thing to do.
Okay.
I did my duty."
Okay. So he didn't actually apologize, or he didn't regret anything.
Not at all. He felt that, in fact, and he was asked if your bullets had not run out,
Mm.
1,650 bullets in 10 minutes. Okay.
Mm.
If your bullets had not run out, would you have continued? He says yes.
Mm.
Says if the armored car would have gone into the gate because the gate was too small, would you have taken the armored car and would you have used the armored car ka gun on everybody? He said yes.
Okay.
Said, but why? Why did you do this? Because it was a peaceful gathering. You could have at least gone and told them, excuse me, everybody, please clear. So
Mm.
he says, in the report, he says, and this is part of that, it's there. He
Mm.
says, if I had told them to go and if they would have come back after 10 minutes, then
Mm.
I would have been made a fool. I would have made a laughing stock.
Mm.
So because I did not want to get humiliated, I basically opened fire.
Okay. So this doesn't make sense at all, man. this
I know.
this is so ruthless.
No, it's brutality, genocide. It's something which we have, sort of, and then you realize that what we are saying now is that it's a conspiracy.
Mm.
We are saying that it can't just be him,
Mm.
right? It can't be that he came in one day and he said, let's do this. There is an entire hand, which is what the
Yeah.
post actually is, it's a puppet.
Mm.
And that this is somebody who is controlling General Dyer, and that this was a British conspiracy to teach us a lesson that we would never forget.
Okay. So actually, since our childhood days, for me especially, since my school days, I study about Jallianwala Bagh, and what actually made you like, come on, I need to make a fiction around this story and bring out the truth to the people. What actually motivated you to do such thing?
It was that example that I told you, which was like, for me, what that man did is he humiliated me.
Mm.
And I think what the British did to us a lot of the time, and for any of us who have been told about the color of our skin, and because of our color of our skin, we're inferior.
Mm.
I think that is something which, how can you say that the color of my skin makes me inferior?
Okay. So yeah. What exactly like made you pick this one particular event to build a story around? Like this whole the Jallianwala Bagh massacre thing. Around what made you pick this one particular event?
I was trying to figure out what would reach out to people. Like, is there a part of Jallianwala Bagh that they did not know about? And I realized that people thought that Dyer just came in and did this, but they didn't even know that there was an investigation 6 months later, which was run by, led by a man called Lord Hunter. That's why it was called the Hunter Commission, which was called the Punjab Disorders Committee. There was a big hue and cry in the in the Parliament in London, in England, about whether, what was happening at that time is that World War I had just got over.
Yeah.
And there was a Paris Peace Conference, which Britain was telling people that we believe in peace. Now, suddenly in one of their colonies, this is what happens. Then they had to put this commission to it was a whitewash. Huh? This was not a actual, obviously it was run by 5 British people and 3 Indians were there. And later the 3 Indian committee members also formed their own minority report. They walked out. And though my character is fictional, what really was in history, when I was looking at all of this, I said, this is something that people need to know about because they think that that Jallianwala was just this, but there was a lot more. And also after the massacre, what Dyer did in terms of, sort of, there was a crawling order, there was, sort of martial, sort of law, there was whipping, there was a crawling order. It's still there in a street in Amritsar where he basically made people crawl down that street, which is there again, I think in episode 4 or 5, I think it's there currently. And so that's also something which I said, when people see this, hopefully, and also I wanted to make it the story of 4 friends because I thought maybe the youth of India would also react to, the youth of that time.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and is the Minority Commission report, which you mentioned, is that available in the archive or is it not available anywhere at all?
That is also available. They also published their own commission report, which basically said that it was not just Dyer which was responsible, that it was the British government that was responsible.
Okay. So did you find anything?
But the commission report that was... Sorry, did I find?
Yeah. Did you find anything like fascinating or, like flabbergasted with the reports?
I was, even now, when our actor Alex, who's our main actor, we got 12 actors down from London for this, and they were very good in the show, and they were very good actors and good people. They wanted, when I told them first about this, they didn't know about this. This is not taught in British schools.
Yeah.
It has been erased from British history as far as their schools are concerned.
Wow.
So I'm sort of saying, hello, y'all don't know about this. This is one of our, sort of major events in our history, which y'all did to us, and y'all are not teaching it in your history.
Yeah. That's actually sad,
Yeah.
Yeah, them sitting right on the top, like we did nothing and this never happened.
Yeah, it's erased.
Yeah.
There is what they call it, the institutionalization of history. The institution has decided that, bhai, isko history books mein mat dalo. Side mein rukna.
Did you talk to any British actors throughout the shooting, and did you find how shocked or how they reacted to the whole story?
Yeah, so all these 12 actors that we spoke to, and they did this because they wanted the world to know about it. They did not know about what had happened, and they came in with a lot of sympathy, and they came in wanting to actually evoke, sort of that feeling to the world. So I must say, I'm very, very proud and happy with not just their acting, but the humanity that they showed.
Okay, cool. And before, ending this interview, I'd like to ask you 2 questions about the posters of your film, which I found really interesting. The number one is the big British hand operating the whole massacre thing, and the next one is, and the Indian person, the lead of the movie, the Indian person is blinded by a British flag, and I would like to know what was your vision through the poster.
So, Leo, first of all, I think you're my ideal audience.
Okay.
Because the kind of questions that you're asking, nobody has really asked me, because we're also I come from advertising, I come from marketing, and I was trying to figure out how are you going to sell the show, because we have actually 4, they've been around, Taruk, Nikita, Sahil, they've all been around, Bhaushil, my 4 main actors. But I realized that, their faces, normally on a poster, you put a face.
Yeah.
And all posters have faces. And I said, we need to therefore come up with something which is a little more conceptual. And I spoke to my friends in advertising. The blindfold idea is from a friend of mine called Agnello Dias, who's really one of the people I've been working with for many, many years. My Airtel, the Airtel campaign, Har Ek Friend Zaruri Hota Hai, he wrote. And so I've worked with him a lot. And he said, Ram, why don't we do a campaign which is this? And then the other one was from a person. We spoke to 3 or 4 people who designed posters. And then Vipin, who was one of the people who came up with the idea of the hand and the fact that General Dyer was a puppet and that there was a British hand that was actually controlling this is something which he came up with that idea. And I think that both of these then became, and again, thanks to Sony Live for agreeing to the fact that, okay, listen, yes, as marketing intrigue to create intrigue, because it's a very it's not your normal poster, you know.
Mm.
Normally you just put a face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And the conceptual idea, they're idea posters.
yeah, actually, I loved both the posters, which actually, like told the whole story. And this is the thing. The whole theme of the story is right there in the poster. That is there for you to see. And that was actually really good posters, to be honest. And I'd like to also ask you about your web series journey, which the first web series was a super hit, which actually made a lot of, there was recognition all over the world. And are you going to continue make such web series in the future? And what is the next idea? What's the next big step after Arya and this Waking of a Nation?
So first, yes, thank you for that, because I think Arya came at a time, and Shushmita Sen obviously was very important for that. And it came at a time when OTT was just picking up, and it came during COVID. And so there was, people had time.
Yeah.
Now the entire viewing habits of people have changed. And so we want to continue obviously making OTT. We like that space. We like the fact that we're, sort of given a certain, we can be honest to the stories that we want to tell. So we're writing some new stuff on that. I also want to make a feature film that embraces lip sync songs.
Okay.
And I want to make, I feel that the idea of music and songs in movies we're not embracing as much as we should. And I have not done a lip sync song. In this one I did. Obviously there's Kabir over there, but I've not done a full blown out masala commercial film. So I want to do that. So that's
Okay.
the second. And the third thing is, we've just made a 5-minute short film on virtual reality, which is
No.
on your headset.
Wow.
So that's something also, because I'm trying to experiment with that language and to see where VR will go. So these are the three things that and obviously the advertising, thank God, continues.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's good. That's actually good. So one last question before I'm just asking one last question.
No, please. I have the time. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So, here in Tamil Nadu, there was there's a lot of movies. For example, let's take Sarpata Parambre, which is directed by Paranjit. Immediately after the release of the movie, people are demanding, why can't you make it into a web series? Because there are a lot of characters around in the movies. There is a lot of subplots in the movies. Why can't you just make it a web series? And what is your take on that? Is web series more, gives you more space to explore than the movies? What's your take on it?
I think that currently, I think South India is obviously doing better in terms of just the movie-going audience. And North India currently and Hindi movies are not doing as well in terms of just the people who are pulling the audience into the theater. I think that right now, yes, I'm so happy that people in South India have embraced and are yet going to I'm presuming they are, that's what we hear over here, that yes, people are going to the theater. So in my head, I also come from, I'm okay with whatever format you want to see it on. I'm good giving you content on a mobile phone because I come from advertising. So I do believe that as long as you see it, I'm okay with, as long as you see it somewhere. So that's my feeling. Though I'm also trying to figure out, how do I pull you into the theater? Because as we all know, that amount of money, that amount of time, the sort of appointment viewing, as they call it, that you have to actually, it's an outing, and therefore it has to be worth your time. And I think what's happening right now with web series is that you have the power of the remote control in your hand.
Yeah.
And that power is, that remote control is like your gun,
Yes.
And I have to make sure that you don't point that gun at me to say, "Acha, chalo, you're dead."
Yeah. That's a beautiful metaphor, That's a beautiful metaphor, man.
So while the good thing, at least about you coming to the theater, is that once you come to the theater, you will not walk out. It's very rare for you to walk out of a movie, because now you spend the money, you maybe have some dinner plans with friends. You say, "Abhi chalo, by 8:30, 9 tak to idhar hi hai," whatever, But for an OTT audience, it's something which I am really at the receiving end of your and I don't want to waste your time, you know. So I think that investment that you're making on OTT is a lot more, how shall I say, finicky in a way. Whereas the investment that you're making in a movie hall is thought through, you know. You're saying, I want to go there, I want to see this, and I will take the effort. Whereas with OTT, you're watching it, you say, ah, chodo. It's now, in fact, more and more, they're calling it laundry TV. They're calling it OK TV, which is that you're meant to watch it while you're doing other stuff. They're calling it second screen viewing. So this is where OTT is also going, because I feel that people are no longer wanting to also give it that seriousness. They wanted to basically, while you're doing some work or you're having your dinner and you're watching, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful metaphor, you know.
Yeah.
The gun. I love it. I absolutely loved it. Thank you so much, Ram, for your
Thank you.
time. I absolutely love the
Thank you, Leo.
Yes, thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.